From all over the floor, the Charlotte Hornets simply had no answer for Karl-Anthony Towns, leading to a franchise-high 62 points and another big win. Wait, the Timberwolves lost? Normally, when a number 1 seed in the West is at home against the 13th seed of the East, it's a guaranteed win, especially when their star player makes the opposing TV analyst lose his mind. But how do we get from an 18-point lead at the end of the third to the Hornets pulling this thing out at the very end?
It was an absolute disgusting performance of defense and immature basketball.
We also got a first in the NBA. A player who scored over 60 points in a game actually got benched down the stretch because of his poor play. As an example, early in the fourth, he forces a contested corner 3 with plenty of time on the clock, then doesn't hustle back fast enough. This forces Milton to cover for him an extra second, creating a long closeout on a guy who was red hot all night. I don't mind the peel switch off a poor shooter, but here come the Hornets. And let's get to some of the good stuff. How Cat scored 44 points in 21 minutes of playing time in the first half. They run a nice zoom action on the left side as misdirection to enter the ball to the high post for Towns. Why they keep trying to feed Rudy on the high-low action is a little mystifying to me, but it works perfectly as the fumble flows into a pick and roll and Cat makes them pay for the late switch. Same play, and this time Towns says, "F it, I'm only 2 dribbles away from the hoop and I've got 5 inches on my man." Cat is the perfect antidote for drop coverage of the pick and roll. His man is responsible for containing the ball handler while Rozier chases from behind. If Bridges drops too low, it's an open 3 for a great shooter. With Anthony Edwards feeding Towns early and often, he got 10 shots in the first quarter, and it explains why Ant only got 1 shot in the first half. After a cross match on the Hornets' end led to an ISO miss, LaMelo finds himself having to pick up Towns. Watch him reach out for Bridges once he realizes this fact, before the Wolves spread the floor and let Cat go to work with a big height advantage. Ball's effort is lacking, and credit Brandon Miller for offering up something, but Cat is too good. I really like this sideline out of bounds play. It's a high post split where Cat has the option of coming off the pin down into a handoff. However, if the defender goes under the screen, he can flare to the corner. Good recovery by Bridges to take away the shot, but he's too close and can't stop the baseline drive, and Ish Smith has no effect as the primary help. Another way to defend the pick and roll on the wing is to ice it. Watch Rozier force the ball handler away from the screen towards the baseline, with Bridges dropping to contain. When it's Cat screening, it requires a third defender to rotate over from the nail. Ish Smith actually points the spot he's supposed to be in before realizing way too late that he's the guy to contest. The Hornets really struggled against this action as Cat sets the ball screen, then flares off of Rudy to the top of the key. Simple, yet effective, as PJ Washington should have switched to the shooter while Bridges picked up Rudy. Instead, it looks like Cat is in the 3-point shootout at the All-Star game. We got a heat check in transition as Nick Smith Jr. gets completely spun around out there with no idea that Towns was the guy he was supposed to pick up. Good effort by Bridges to recover, but Cat is on fire. The rest of the half was the Karl-Anthony Towns show. He shot the ball on every possession for the next 5 minutes straight. And when he had it going like he did, it's okay to just bring the ball up, not pass it, and just get to the rim for free throws. The Hornets had no size to guard him with down low, and I love how he tacks on the catch to the baseline. Bridges looked ready to help, but decides to turn his head completely to find Reed for a second, and that means an easy dunk for Towns. Why not bring it up again and just attack your man? Plus the help defender desperately trying to deflect the ball. Nice lefty jump hook over the shorty. There was some evidence this night wasn't completely magical, as Towns turned the ball over 5 times in the first half alone, and it led to him getting upset, wrinkling that forehead and brow into various looks of frustration. And it's exactly that kind of wrinkled old skin you can avoid by using Teach Hanley's remarkable skincare system that helps you get great looking skin. Each customizable package comes with easy to follow instructions that enable you to clean and moisturize your face quickly, and your skin will feel better than ever. I get compliments all the time saying I look younger than I really am. And because Teach Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click on the first link in the description and you'll get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. Don't miss out on this amazing deal. Click that link and get started today. It was mind-boggling that the Hornets wouldn't do something different on defense, as Cat again just goes ham on PJ Washington with a simple gallop dribble that gets him right into the lane and draws another set of free throws. After a made free throw, the Hornets try a bold move and play 2-3 zone. McGowan's looked confused to start, but gets there for a decent contest, but they've already let Towns go Super Saiyan and he hits another triple. They go back to man-to-man, and at this point, you've got to pick him up just inside half court. Let's hear this one more time, shall we?
No!
But all good things must come to an end, and I think Edwards was shocked that Cat passed the ball, which became one of Towns' 7 turnovers in this game. At this point, it was probably time to get back to some normalcy, maybe hit Edwards coming off this pin down and see what they can get over the middle of the floor. Instead, you've got a stagnant multi-dribble ISO that does yield more free throws. The Hornets have the worst defense in the league for a reason, and screwing up the switch on a pick and roll is evidence why. However, they escape as the fever has broken temporarily. Rather than attack an opening out top, Edwards decides to go right back to Cat's side, and this is what happens when you go to the well too often. LaMelo has a high IQ, reads this the whole way, and just steals the ball when Cat foolishly catches it with one hand. Rather than get somebody to get Ant going, they try to get Cat open out top, and I love this inverted blind pig action. Normally the cut happens behind the ball, but Towns finds the opening on the strong side, and this was a pretty sad attempt at taking a charge too early as Towns gets another pair of free throws. The third quarter continued to be good for Towns as he went 5 for 8 for another 14 points as the Wolves built a 15-point lead. The Hornets did a better job throwing more bodies at him to stop this attack on the catch. You can see why choppy step closeouts are suboptimal against players who do attack on the catch, as Towns beats the bad angle taken by Washington, and Rozier not stepping up to take a charge allows a slam dunk. He even got a 3 off after being the jumper in the circle, with almost no room to get this off and perhaps even being fouled on the way down.
Oh my goodness!
It looked like Towns was breaking off the called set from Finch as Walker Alexander throws his arms up in confusion before Towns gets the ball back and then gets stripped, allowing the Hornets to run out and get a dunk in transition. Normally, a pick and roll out top with 2 on the weak side means both of those players spotting up in the corner. That would have given Ant an opportunity to attack a long closeout. Instead, Cat gets in his way on the post, and it turns into a double team, turning down wide open threes to force this shot. But let's look at some of the defensive issues that Coach Finch was seeing early that bit them in the butt at the very end. Bridges is a league average shooter and catches Cat with his hands down early in the game and lights him up. In the third, a foolish gamble on a skip pass leads to another wide open 3 to cut the lead to 4. He gets stuck in no man's land as LaMelo drives and can't contest this wide open 3 well enough that began the Hornets' comeback. After forcing up an early shot clock long 2 with his foot on the line, the Hornets race back down court. Cat doesn't look engaged at all and allows yet another open 3 that cuts their big lead to 5. Now we can talk about his drop coverage in the pick and roll, since it's not very effective in the best of times, and the Hornets exploited it on numerous possessions. This is interesting footwork to soft shoe it backwards while the ball handler is in a full sprint ahead. Plus, why didn't Rudy even attempt to block this? They catch him bailing out of his drop coverage too early before his teammate could recover properly, leading to the layup. Credit for the effort to get into the air to contest this drive off a drag screen in transition, but LaMelo is too good for this. I appreciate the turn and run into drop coverage, but this just isn't good enough. Even though they got the long 2, the analytics only work if you actually get a hand up on shots like this, and now they've got a dogfight on their hands. And the one that forced Finch to bench him on this inside ball screen, he doesn't even attempt to get into position to slow the ball up first. And you can see Anderson is pissed at him for bailing the position too early. The game went back and forth, but the Hornets had clearly gotten the glow at this point, believing they belonged with the top seed in the West on the road, leading to 2 huge mid-range buckets with good defense being played. They tried to bring Cat back in for offense, then subbed him immediately out for defense, which kept him out long enough to see some very disjointed possessions that doesn't indicate to me that they're a very well-coached team. Then, Coach Finch drew up this play in the huddle as their second to last chance, forced a switch with the ball screen and let Cat go to work from the area where he was killing the Hornets early in the game. Watch how 4 defenders converge on his drive. Cat has anybody but Rudy to pass to for a wide open shot, and instead, he gets his third shot of the night returned to sender. Then, as Cat comes out of the huddle down 3 for the last shot, you can see he's still focused on the previous play, negative body language, and complaining to the refs that he was fouled. They pull Ant to the strong side corner and set a pin down for Cat, a very difficult action because his momentum is going entirely away from the hoop. Then he's got to catch and fire it up from 40 feet away. Not a great play design, not great execution, and an example of why I'm very concerned that the Timberwolves aren't a good enough team to go deep in the playoffs. And I fear it's because Cat is the one holding them back. Something I had just said a few hours before the game was even played during our live show. The guy who I think is going to end up holding the Timberwolves back. Who's
Rudy?
that?
Cat?
It is Cat. Let's go through Cat. Down the stretch, what I see is he gets open for a pretty good open little runner.
Thumbs up. You must be saying something right.
Yeah, he blows a little runner. He then reaches in on somebody who drives and then like gets off balance and then just bumps into the guy for it. And I don't know if it was an and one, but gave him 2 free throws. And then at the end, when they needed to just double with not a lot of time left at the half court, they get Jalen Williams to cross the half court into the coffin corner. They get a double, and he just flops to try and try and take a really weak charge. It's a foul on him. Instead, he fouled out, and he's not there for the last couple possessions. So I think I'm missing one other thing that was driving me nuts. Did I write it down? There might have been one other play he did. Oh,